What's going on, gamer? So we got some more info here on what was going on in that earlier video I made about Xbox Helix being diskless and how 360 games were particularly coming to whatever devices they were talking about. Now we have more intel here. This is going to be more of a talk about how there's actually going to be multiple Xbox consoles. This is now confirmed in this leaked document, on top of Microsoft once again not getting people to focus on a specific console format, but having multiple OEM models, along with more 360 backwards compatibility coming, but to PC. Meaning, like, you're not getting people to only focus on something that's exclusive to the console. You're taking away what was supposed to be exclusive to Xbox consoles, but obviously if it was supposed to do big damage on the market and dominate, it would have. Nobody wants to really play 360 games like that. And bringing them to the other overpriced consoles in the future is not going to make it look any better than what it already looks right now on the Xbox Series X. You know what I mean? Even the Xbox One, because you're basically maxing it out pretty much at that point. Not that it's a bad thing that you're expanding your catalog to PC, but the thing here is that you're taking away one of the last exclusive features that the Xbox consoles have by moving this to PC. First, it was original Xbox. Now you're coming with 360. And then I guess Xbox One with Halo 5 and all that may actually happen, though. That's one of the worst Halos. I don't see why I would care about that. But yeah, this is what we're going to be getting into here. We have some more official intel here. So become a member for $3. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Here we go. Okay. Microsoft expands the Xbox 360 backward compatibility to PC and next-gen consoles. So you see this right here, next-gen consoles? Remember what that was saying in that other document? Well, we have some proof of that right here on Charlie Intel's post. Xbox will allow developers to bring their 360 games to PC. You know the funny thing about it too? They were saying that they could actually charge you money for the physical disc to digital conversion. Yeah, like maybe like a $5 fee or something, kind of like an upgrade pack. They're literally trying to monetize that. That's crazy. We'll get back to that in a second, though. Xbox 360 games can run on the next-gen Project Helix console. See that? We'll take a look at the graph, too. Xbox PCs, what? And handheld devices. So if you're not talking about the ROG Ally and the ROG Ally X, obviously you're talking about Microsoft trying to work on an official handheld. As you know, they actually were saying that they didn't want to give up on doing that, but they canceled one with AMD and they wanted to see how the ROG Ally went next to learn how handhelds actually work. They've been watching the Steam Deck. They've been watching the Switch 2. I still think they may try that, but it's just not going to sell that well. Everything's too expensive. The handheld's going to be expensive. Look at the Steam Deck price, right? But I think they're going to try that type of ecosystem, kind of like Steam and PlayStation, because they're going to be working on a handheld too with the PS6. But I don't know. You know, Microsoft, they don't like making weak devices. So that's why I'm saying that no matter what they make, it's going to be expensive. So now we understand what that actually means when they say Project Helix console and then Xbox PCs. It seems like there's going to be multiple OEM models now. Now we see this right here. And what this tells me is that maybe Microsoft is trying to make a console that is going to focus on the Xbox ecosystem only, kind of like the way the consoles work right now. And then they're going to have Xbox PCs with Steam on it, right? And just basically be like a universal Windows platform, kind of like the original idea people were talking about. So it seems like they're not sticking to one plan and trying to get you to focus on a Project Helix console, but they're trying to give you something called an Xbox PC. But you know the funny thing about that is, I think it's going to be the same thing just like the ROG Ally. But now we're talking about in a PC format, right? And obviously that would sell less than the Xbox Project Helix console if they're trying to get that down to be cheaper than the Xbox PCs. Because obviously if it's a PC, you charge more money for it. And then you see the keyword handheld devices here. So you're like, are you talking about the ROG Ally? Because that's not really an Xbox handheld. I'm not getting into that again. This is an Xbox nonsense, though. They're back with that. But if you're talking about Xbox handhelds, and it kind of makes sense because look, next gen Project Helix console, next gen Xbox PCs and next gen handheld devices. Because look at where this starts right here, where you put the colons. See? Like if you wanted to apostrophe something or quote something, that starts here and then it ends here after the next gen. You see how he's kind of trying to state that? So Microsoft wants to work on next gen Xbox handheld devices. Not just a console, but also Xbox PCs, kind of like the ROG Ally. This is kind of clear about what he's saying right here. And then on top of that, they want developers to bring all the 360 games across these next gen devices and the PC market on the Xbox PCs. Unless the Xbox PCs are going to be Xbox themes too and not have Steam. But no, they just actually clarified that they're not abandoning Steam. So I don't think that's what that is, because PC means personal computer, not Xbox only. You know, I mean, that's what a console is for, you know? So we got to get an idea here. And this source goes to The Verge, right? Going down, the hater says, Xbox is just a nostalgia machine at this point. What is it with these weirdos who want to play old games? Just get an Xbox 360 and be quiet. That's kind of funny. You know, a lot of people do like to play certain old games for sure. But I get what he's saying. What's funny is Kotaku just actually did a post, and it's kind of insulting to Xbox. If you guys didn't see it, they basically, let's go to Kotaku real quick. They basically are mocking them by saying, and you guys are going to laugh at this, when you don't have a lot of new stuff coming for reasons, fill out your content pipeline with old stuff. Basically saying this to digital plan rolls out with 360 games coming to basically PC and all that. And they're kind of mocking Xbox and Microsoft. We kind of just saw that in that post. Though not a lot of people are paying attention to that Kotaku post, because Kotaku's become a meme lately, obviously. I mean, I get what they're saying, but yeah, that's a site that I just can't take serious with all their political chicanery nonsense that they did back then. But we have some answers here. But let's keep going down. Literally nobody wants Project Helix. It just makes Xbox look cheap and super watered down. Just work with Steam and watch those units fly. That's kind of funny. Bizarre Creations doesn't exist anymore. Please bring it back. Geometry Wars is amazing. I played that back in the days. I love it. Who on PC actually gives an F, bro? See what I mean? Nobody cares. Is this emulation under the hood or actual native ports? Generally don't know how they're pulling this off. Probably emulation. That's what it is. It's Xbox emulation. I'm going to show you guys that here in a second when we get to that. But we're getting the idea, and they called me stupid for trusting Asha. I told you this is not going to be Xbox console only support. Look at this. They're having multiple OEM models split up. Like you're going to sell tons between all these. It's not a major focus. And I've been trying to tell people this. It's right there in front of your face. Going up here to this, we see a leaked internal document reveals Microsoft's plans to bring Xbox 360 games to Xbox PCs. See, it says the same thing again. Xbox PCs, handhelds, and the next-gen Project Helix console starting in 2027 to 2028. Here it is, using an emulator. It's right there, and we're going to get to the chart here in a second. Using an emulator so developers just opt in without heavy work. So the emulator is going to do all the work. Developers don't have to do much. It's more about, can I use your license to do that? And I tell you, this type of stuff will launch, but it's not going to move the needle like you think. Like, it's just Microsoft doing stuff because they don't know what else to do. They're taking away another exclusive feature to reason to not have a console. I'm telling you, then they're going to put that on the cloud too, across TVs and all this sort of stuff. They're literally telling you that we know that Helix is not going to be enough. It's going to be the least sold Xbox console of all time. Get ready for that. Players with physical Xbox One or Series X discs can convert them to digital license tied to their account and disc, keeping resale options intact. A public beta was eyed for July with wider rollouts in August. Publishers control pricing. What I was telling you about that, they can literally decide that, by the way. They can actually charge you for the conversion. So they want you to lose your physical disc to convert into a license tied into your account. The only way you'll be able to use that disc is if you untie that license. I think that's what they're saying. And Game Pass inclusion. Building on recent original Xbox PC ports launching fully in October 2026, while Microsoft reaffirms Steam support amid industry shifts to digital. You see, they reaffirmed the Steam support. They actually came out and said, no, we're going to stick with Steam. According to what this is saying right here, right? So Once again, they're still not picking a road, by the way. They're all over the place, all over TVs, all over PC, still with Steam, talking about exclusives, but then you're doing PC, Xboxes, Xbox handhelds. You see what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not saying that you can't do that. I mean, what else are they going to do? But I said it, like I said it before, it's going to become a luxury product that's going to be priced very high. And at that point, don't expect the Helix to probably even come close to Series X S sales, not even like half of it probably. I'm thinking that they're probably looking to sell like maybe 10 million. If they can get 20, that would be crazy. But I wouldn't look anything past that. And people are like, oh, well, we got to see the price. I mean, yeah, it's going to be expensive. So it's the Xbox PCs and the Xbox handhelds. It's just this market now. And Microsoft is never going to be making that much money off of them to begin with, because historically, you don't make money off of hardware. And if they're saying they're not going to subsidize, then it's pretty obvious they want to sell it at a profit, not a loss, like Steam. So Valve went a little bit too far with that. Now, going down, we see Tom actually has the backwards compatibility graph right here. It says backwards compatibility, who does what? Microsoft handles. Microsoft built emulator. It's an emulator already built. Local PC execution, certification, and compatibility testing. Storefront ingesting, listing, and merchandising, player support, updates, regression, and ongoing maintenance, as we see that right there. It's right here for you. So Microsoft built emulator. Microsoft handles this. And then developers provide the decision that you want with your IP, not engineering, because they're doing engineering over here. Title opt-in confirmation, so decisions and confirmations. Commercial parameters, prices, what do you want the prices to be? And if you want to charge them for a conversion from physical to digital, you can. Game Pass promotions and brand sign-off. We get that idea here. So this is not something that is a rumor. This is official, and this is what developers were being shown. And we're getting to take a look at all the details right here when it comes to the 360 and original Xbox, but just in general, the Microsoft built emulator that is not going to be focusing on the Xbox consoles, but coming to PCs. As we see, local PC execution. And then, compatibility. Timeline 2026 and beyond. All dates are subject to change. Expect that with Microsoft. So if I got off the screen, let's see if we can read everything here. July 2026, as we see right here, is a disc to digital insider public beta, as we saw in that last video. Backwards compatibility, early access, original Xbox titles, right? But the funny thing here is that we didn't see anything about this last month. We're in August now. August this month is disc to digital general availability for everybody. Ships to all Xbox One and Series X owners. I covered that, but now we understand what this really means in full context, right? So getting ready for emulation and basically converting. And they could be monetizing you, by the way, for that, which is absolutely ridiculous. But hey, that's what Microsoft's going to do. And then October, backwards compatibility on PC full launch. Original Xbox titles on PC via Game Pass or the Xbox Store. That's original. And then next year, not coming this year, you have the Xbox 360 catalog gradually rolling out, meaning they're doing stuff over time. Like they started off with the original titles, and then they're going to eventually get to everything over time, depending on which developers say this and that, and across next-gen Xbox devices, which we know is most likely 2028, unless it's late 2027 and they don't want to wait, but they're going to charge you because they say it's going to get worse next year. So how is it going to be cheap? What's going to be the point of doing that if it's going to be that ridiculous? It's just going to be just like the Steam machine, where it's going to cost too much money. Definitely, if you're telling somebody that has a console-like mentality that has never seen a console sell at the prices that they're selling now. But if you think about the beginning of this generation, it's $500 for PS5 disc drive model. Same thing for the Series X. They didn't have digital. Then PS4 digital was $399, and the Series S was $299. Though Sony gave you limited aspects of the digital and wanted you to buy the $500 console more. And they were both taking a loss because those were crazy deals back in 2020. And when we get to PS6 and Helix, the Helix is going to be more expensive than the PS6, without a doubt. And the PS6, I think what Sony's going to do, Sony will subsidize because they know they can make up money in other parts of the market. I think they'll subsidize. They're not going to sell it for more than $800. So that's not really an argument. I just know that Sony's not going to do that. And they'd rather wait till 2028 for prices to go down, and then they'll release it at that time. So we have our answers right here on how all this is going to work and how multiple models are happening. We saw the handheld devices are in development, Xbox PCs, Xbox Helix, 360 backwards compatibility, but these are things that Microsoft are focusing on in the PC world as well. They're not abandoned in Steam. We saw that too. So it's not about Xbox exclusive console focus. They'll just give you one game here and there. I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to commit, publishing suicide. I mean, that would be bad. Don't kill your publishing, right? This guy says, since the July stuff with digital never ended up happening, wouldn't put any stock in this. Tom says, that was just a beta that slipped slightly. Exactly. It's real. Would this only be for existing backwards compatibility library of 360 games being available on PC, or does this open the doors to get the remaining 360 library running on modern hardware? That's a good question. I think they're trying to do both, since they're going to expand that. Because they said they're still talking to developers about how they want to do this. But that's actually a good question. Still closer to play Lost Odyssey on PC. Now, that's a game I'd care about. The emulator handles the engineering. Expired music license will still be the final boss, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, if the license is expired and developers don't care, it doesn't matter, because that's why Microsoft was saying in that graph up here, opt-in title opt-in confirmation, like intellectual property opt-in confirmation, or something like that. They would still have to do it. Otherwise, they're just going to do whatever they have already on the Xbox. But if there's going to be anything new coming in, it would have to be what you see Microsoft was saying. This is for the publishers and developers. You have to provide this. We can't, obviously, because we don't have control of that license. Those are your IPs. So other than that, I want you guys to let me know what you actually think about this. Microsoft really has something here. Phil Spencer said that the Xbox One PS4 generation was the worst to lose because everyone built their libraries. But if Sony is going to force a portion of people to give up their libraries because of no more physical discs, this is an opportunity. You think that, but no. Don't trust Microsoft to take over that, because there's things in the PlayStation world that are never going to be in the Xbox world. You're still not getting this. What PlayStation gamers want only exists like that in the Nintendo world. As Microsoft is already telling you, you're converting your stuff into digital. How is that hard to figure out? It's not a solution. They don't support physical disc in the Xbox world. You can't even get full physical disc ownership. We saw that with the servers going down. Xbox Live. And just in general, how you need to be online and sometimes sign in. Halo Campaign Evolved gives you a perfect example. It's like half-baked physical copies, I guess, but it still has a license aspect tied into it, and it needs a verification. So there's literally no escaping that. But there we have it, guys. Like I said, become a member for $3. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this. Are you upset because you thought that it was going to be full console exclusive focus, and they probably were going to focus on the Xbox ecosystem, and then you find out that here's the real truth again? That's why I say that I don't get caught up in any of that stuff, because I know how the game works, and Microsoft just can't afford to do that, and Satya wants his money back. If not, he's going to find something else to do. But according to this, they have a roadmap going up to 2028. But what does a roadmap mean for Xbox, right? Yeah, a shaky foundation. Later, y'all. Remember, keep on gaming, no matter what platform you're on. And if you're in the Steam world, well, GOG world, right? But yeah, I mean, all I'm going to say as I end this is that I just don't think there's much hope for Xbox hardware ever being popular again. Later.